Okay, in this video, I just want to briefly go over how to create a new project, how to move a clip to your timeline, and also how to trim a clip as well as split a clip. Let's start by creating a new project, which depending on your version of iMovie can look like this, and we would just click Create New, or we can go to File, New Movie, and this creates a new project. Now you can see up here it says My Movie, but we want to rename it to something we can remember, and let's just call it Clip Trimming. And we can see in the Projects tab right here is our empty new clip. So we'll double click that, and we can see the timeline down here, it's empty. This is our browser window with different clips. This is from a folder called Japan. Here's clips from a folder called DV Clips. And we're just going to bring down the clip to the timeline. The way to do this, we can either select the whole entire clip by clicking on it once, and we see this colored outline, and we just hit the plus button, and this will take it down to the timeline. If you want to add a second clip, let's say this one, we'll do the same thing. We hover the cursor over the clip, click it once until we see that border, and when we hit the plus, we'll add the clip to the end of the previous clip. And if we want to do a third one, click it, and when we hit the plus, you'll notice it will add it to the end of the second clip on the timeline. Now we can't see the whole entire timeline here. We can adjust the view by moving the slider to the left to make it smaller. If you want to see more details, we can move it to the right, so you can see all the way to the right. It means we can see every single frame. But for now, let's make it smaller. And we have the 3 clips on the timeline. Now I'm going to delete the last clip, and I want to bring in a third clip, but I want to add it between those 2 clips. So we select the clip again, we see the colored outline of the frame, and we are not using the plus button this time because that will add it to the end, but we want it in here in the middle. So we just click and drag, and we add it in between, and we can see it got inserted between the first clip and the third clip. And that's how you add clips to your timeline. So how we just saw, if you want to take a clip to your timeline, you can just drag it down or hit the plus button, and it will add it to your timeline. Now I'm going to add the second clip, but I don't want the whole clip. You can see this clip is 14 seconds long from beginning to end, but I just want the beginning pieces. So we can select it, and we can move these double lines, and we can move the beginning or the end, in my case here is the end, and make this clip shorter. You can see how the numbers, the seconds, are getting lower. Let's say you just want 9 seconds of this clip. And then we can just drag it down, click and drag, and add it to the timeline. Now, if we want to select something in the middle here, we don't want this whole entire clip down on the timeline, but just like a few seconds in the middle. We'll move the cursor to where we want to start. We hit the R key on the keyboard and drag, and we have like a 5-second clip here. So only the 5 seconds between these colored lines will be added to the timeline. And we can hit the plus, which would move it to the end of this clip, or we can just drag it in between and it will add it in between. So the first clip that we brought down to the timeline, we just grabbed the whole clip from the top, from the browser window in the timeline. And of course, it's much too long. And say right somewhere around here where we lose the person and just see the reflections, we want to cut somewhere here. So we would just click where we want to cut this clip in two. And we just move this line right here and we click once and we can hit Command B and it will cut the clip in two. So now we have one clip, two clips. And we want to get rid of this and we just delete that. That's how you split a clip in two. Another way to split a clip in two is by finding your spot where you want to cut it in two and click it and then do Control click, and from the selection here we can select split clip, and again we have the two clips. We can delete this part, and that's how you split a clip. Now if you only want to trim, let's say, the end of a clip, it's very easy to do. You don't have to split it, but let's just say you just want to cut it somewhere on here. You just go to the end of this clip and you can see your cursor, which is an arrow now. If you hover it over the end, it turns into two arrows facing apart from each other. And once you have that, you can just slide it forward to where you want this clip to end. And now we have a new end. Same can be done in the beginning. Hover over, you see the two arrows pointing apart, and we move it in. That's how you trim the beginning or the end of a clip.